Hello, I'm Lelde Smits for the Capital Network. Joining me at Minds and Money Asia is Geoff Raby, Chairman and CEO of Geoff Raby and Associates, and also Australia's former ambassador to China. Geoff, wonderful to have you here today.
My pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Wonderful. Now, Geoff, you've recently written about President Xi Jinping's anti-corruption drive. Do you believe he's doing enough to combat corruption?
Well, corruption is a pervasive problem in China. He's made it one of his top policy priorities, and he's been working at it very hard for the past 4 years. He's doing a lot. He's doing it for two reasons, though. One is to deal with the issue of corruption and to weed it out of the system. He's also using the anti-corruption campaign, though, as a political tool to strengthen his political position and consolidate his power. So it has two elements to it. Defeating corruption is not always at the top of the list. It's also, as I said, used for political purposes. But overall, it's made a big change in China and made a big change in how people do business in China, which is quite positive.
And if we're talking about the region, how do you believe this corruption crackdown will impact the ideas that investors have about investing into China?
Well, anything that makes China a more normal place in which to do business, where corruption and the costs of doing business are reduced as a result of removing corruption, will have to be a good thing and very positive for attracting inward investment. But also China needs to do more about its rule of law, a more stable regulatory environment, and much more transparency in its regulatory and legal system to be really the sort of place that a lot of businesses would like to go to.
And do you believe investors are convinced, and are you?
Well, I think it's all heading in the right direction. China has in the past attracted large amounts of investment. Quite surprisingly now, though, China invests more overseas than foreigners invest in China. It's become a net capital exporter. 10 years ago, no one would have imagined that to have happened. But part of the problem is that foreign investors find it difficult to invest in China, and there are many other countries in the region that are attractive places as well. But overall, if this is the trend to more transparency, greater rule of law, then it'll be good for attracting investment.
It can only be a good thing. But from China's perspective, when they're looking for investment opportunities, where do you believe, outside of their own borders, what is attractive to them?
Well, two elements are going on with China's outward investment. One is it reflects a pattern of changing investment and consumption inside of China. Per capita incomes are rising very, very quickly, and that's leading to consumer-led growth and the services sector growing very quickly. So services in China, again, it's extraordinary if you think back 10 years ago, today are more than 54% of GDP. So the pattern of Chinese outward investment is going to reflect that. And you'll see much more Chinese investment, as we do see, going into the services area, high-end entertainment, high-end hotels, recreation facilities, education, health. These sort of high value added services will be the area of greatest growth. The other side to it, though, is the One Belt, One Road policies of President Xi, where President Xi is looking to recycle China's large amounts of foreign exchange reserves, build up in capacity to build infrastructure, building capacity, and to move that offshore through the One Belt, One Road policies. And so you're also seeing very big Chinese investment going now into infrastructure projects throughout Southeast Asia, the subcontinent, and even as far away as Africa and Europe.
Well, certainly so much to watch there in China, and thank you very much for the very concise yet very detailed outlook on the region.
My pleasure. Thank you.